My name is Toru Kikawa. I'm just a regular office employee. I work in the marketing department for a major food company called MoniRobo Foods, where we prepare advertisements and labels that go on the food items. I recently became 29 years old, and just before turning to the point of becoming 30, I faced an important change in my career. I became the section chief in my office, and my colleague Kozumi Matsuda has applauded me for when our department manager announced the news. But I couldn't have done it without him. He deserved this promotion just as much as I did. Just the other day, we began a brand new product, designing packages and advertising for a new line of products that'll be going on shelves later this year. If this project is a success, then our salaries will be going up too, and we've been promised promotions to find more benefits too. Kozumi and I have been putting our minds together to come up with the best designs to sell the strength of separate items, and we've been working all day and night to get things done, but… Good morning! Hey Kozumi, are you okay? Is something wrong? Nah, I just thought it was rare of you to wear a mask to work. You feeling okay? Yeah, it's just a cough. I think I'm coming down with a cold or something, that's all. Are you really okay? I'm alright. I've been sleeping a full 9 hours every night like a baby. You don't look like you're alright. You might get a fever or worsen your symptoms. So why don't you take the department manager and ask him for the day off? And go home and get some rest. I can't just rest because of a cold. I'm one of the project members, and this project is top priority. I've got to help get it done. Yeah, we need you, but Mr. Shimono is going to get pissed off if he sees you working when you're so ill. He's gonna send you home anyway. Really, I'm okay. I ate a full breakfast, okay? And I had some orange juice. I've got a handmade meal to look forward to as well. Handmade? Ah, your wife made you lunch, huh? Yeah, she prepared some stuff last night so that it would be ready for the time I left for work this morning. I'm a lucky guy. She did all that even though she just gave birth to our son a couple of months ago. That must be tough on her to be taking care of the baby alone when you're stuck here doing overtime for the project. I'm really sorry, man. But remember that your health comes first, okay? If you need the day off, take it. That goes for anything if you need to spend more time at home, too. Thanks, I'm really grateful for that. I'll keep it in mind. There's no point in succeeding in this project if you get sick, alright? Take care of yourself. Yeah, I will. I can't help but be worried. I'm getting more anxious by the minute. He may be willing to work, but we never know when his body might give in and collapse from a fever. We won't have to do as much overtime, and you'll have a lot less stress about the project once it's over. So let's push back to work and make this project a success. Just one more push. I can't say anything to dampen his mood or make him lose motivation if he's gonna stay here with a full-blown smile. Anyways, I've told him to warn me if he starts to feel faint, or if any of his symptoms got worse, and we just went back to work. And just a week later, we got the news that our project was a hit. All of our new products appeared on the shelves in supermarkets, convenience stores, and everything all over the country. And before we knew it, our items were making the news. Food reviewers, TV casters, and bloggers were making great reviews about our products, and as a result, the production line was having trouble keeping up with the massive sales. People of all ages were complimenting our products, saying that it was delicious as they ate. Kozumi and I were overjoyed that our designs had helped to create a social phenomenon like nothing before, but… Hey, Toru, sorry to bother you on your day off. Hey, what's up? You never message me when we're off work. It must be urgent. No, it's not urgent, but… Is there something bothering you? Well, the truth is, there's something I want your advice on. Advice? What can I help you with? It's not against company rules if I get a second job, is it? Really? Yeah, it's not forbidden or anything. Really? That's great news. So, is that actually all you wanted to ask? I'm actually looking for a part-time job, one that pays a lot, but I haven't been able to find anything so far, so I was starting to lose hope, but I thought you might know someone or know a place that's looking for help in the evenings. Sorry about that. I don't know anything that might be able to help you. I don't have that many connections. Yeah, I thought it might be difficult. But we earn more than the average at MoniRobo Foods. I thought it'd be more than enough to feed your family. Are you just having some trouble at home? The salary and benefits are great, they are, but it's just not enough right now. You didn't get caught up in some con and have a huge debt to pay, do you? You know you can tell me if something's going on, right? No, that's not the problem. We're thinking about hiring a home builder for our new home, that's all. A home builder? Yeah, the apartment we're living in is a little small, and I think that my wife and son feel a little cramped. It'd be nice if we could build a new place of our own that has a little more space. I don't remember your place being that small. I just want you to give them a lot of space. In a few months, you'll be crawling, and then you'll be walking, running, and tearing the place apart. I want him to have the space to grow, you know? I could understand how Hozumi felt. I was single and I didn't even have a girlfriend to start a family with, but I could imagine the responsibility that he felt in wanting to give his family everything they wanted. But even if he was desperate to build his dream home, I felt like it was a little sudden to be asking about if I knew anyone who would hire him. Sorry, Hozumi, I don't know anyone who's hiring or anyone who's experienced with the same thing that you are, so I don't think I can help. I wish I could help, but it's alright. Thanks for letting me know. Hozumi, you're an honest guy. You're passionate about your work and you work harder than anyone else I know. After years of working with you in the same office, I know that you're a really good guy. Thanks. But I also know that it means you have a tendency of trying to do everything by yourself, even though you don't have to shoulder all the weight. That's why I want to do everything I can to help you. You're my friend. I really appreciate you saying that. Thanks, Toru. You're not alone, Hozumi. Don't forget that. Yeah, thanks for everything. I'm glad that I work with a guy like you, Toru. It felt like something was off, and I wanted to know why Hozumi sounded like he was hiding something from me, but I felt that it was pointless to ask if he wasn't willing to talk to me about that himself. And the next time we saw each other at work after that, I was relieved to see that Hozumi looked like his usual self. Great, he looks okay. Or so I thought. Hozumi has always been energetic, like he had power to spare. Even after doing consecutive overtime shifts, there was always like a big smile on his face. But ever since our conversation online, he barely was the shadow of the man he used to be. 3 months later, the bad feeling I had began to bare its teeth, and… MoniRobo Foods Limited, thank you for your call. This is Kikawa from the marketing department. How can I help you today?
This is Hozumi Matsuda's wife, Yukiko. I'm sorry to bother you when you're so busy.
Oh, hi Yukiko. How's Hozumi doing?
Yeah, about that. I think he called your department manager to let you all know that he would be taking the day off because he was feeling under the weather today.
Yeah, we've all been worried about him, honestly.
I want to check, but your company contract states that employees go home at 6 on the dot when you're off season.
That's right, we do.
Sure, but I want to ask about my husband's working hours. MoniRobo Foods has been praised as a company that takes care of its employees and ensures that work-life balance is protected no matter what. So why is my husband always coming home long after midnight?
What?
He comes home looking worn out, but leaves early the next day to make it on time for the morning meetings you always have. He's not sleeping properly, so he's got bags under his eyes and he's exhausted.
I haven't heard anything from Hozumi himself about having overtime.
Of course you wouldn't. He would never complain. And if you're taking advantage of that to force him to work overtime for free, I want you to stop right now. He's exhausted, and because of the hours you're making him work, he's never going to be able to rest properly. He's going to get sick.
The phone call I picked up wasn't from someone within the company, but from an external number. It turned out the person on the other end was Hozumi Matsuda's wife, Yukiko. I listened to everything she had to say, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. If I hadn't met her before, then I thought that it would have been a prank call. I stayed calm and I made sure not to make any assumptions about the claims she was making. I did my best to tell her what I knew. Yukiko, let's just calm down a few seconds, okay? It's true that we really were busy 3 months ago, and we still had the project to deal with, and then we had a lot of overtime, but that was all paid, and we've never once made Hozumi work overtime for free, and he hasn't stayed behind once a single time in the past 3 months.
What?
As soon as it turns 6, everyone, all the employees and the management, starts getting ready to go home. All the work that we couldn't get finished in one day gets left until the next business day, you know?
That's impossible. Then why isn't my husband coming home until late into the night? Where does Hozumi spend all those hours?
I'm sorry, I really don't know why, and I don't want to assume anything.
Kikawa, Hozumi, is always talking about you, about how you're such a great colleague, and how you've done so well as section chief since you were promoted. He's happy to have a friend like you.
I'm only managing because Hozumi is working so hard with me. I owe him a lot.
If you don't know why Hozumi's coming home so late, then I guess MoniRobo Foods isn't the reason why he looks so overworked.
Yeah, I'm really sorry, but I've told Hozumi that he can talk to me about anything, and I've made sure to keep an eye on him. It's just…
It's okay. I'm sorry for getting emotional. I'll ask my husband when he starts feeling a little better.
Yukiko sounded like she wasn't convinced, but she must have felt that she couldn't get an answer from me because she ended the call. I was shocked to hear that Hozumi hadn't been making it home until late at night. Whenever it turned 6, Hozumi would start beaming and wishing everyone a good night, and he'd leave the office faster than anyone else because he would say his wife and son were waiting for him at home. He wasn't the kind of guy who would go out for drinks or dinner every night, and would go straight home. Hozumi was hiding something after all, and this time it was urgent that I ask him what was going on when he next came to work, but he didn't even give me the chance. Just a few days later, when he returned to work, "Hozumi, you're really pale. Can you even stand?" "I'm okay. My fever's gone down." But you look like you could collapse at any minute. You're not convincing anyone with a face like that. I really am okay. I told my wife that I would come home as soon as I got worse, you know? Your wife's really worried about you, you know? I bet that she didn't want to let you come to work today at all. She told me that she found the office while I was sleeping with my fever off. I'm really sorry that I made you all worry. I'm sorry that she accused you of making me do overtime. She must just must have understood something that I said, that's all. It's all right. I'm not bothered about that at all. Please forget about it. But let's talk to Mr. Shimono and let's have him get you home early today. You can't work like this. I told you I'm okay, goddammit! I can't afford to take any more days off. How many times do I have to tell you I need the money? It was rare for him to get so angry, and it was definitely the first time he had ever yelled in the office. He was desperate. His breathing became heavy and his shoulders began to shake with the strain. It was clear that he wasn't okay. He was just one step away from collapsing from a lack of oxygen.
Kikawa, Matsuda, what's the matter? It's not like you both to argue like this. You're both interrupting everyone else's work.
I'm sorry we bothered you, Mr. Shimono. It's nothing. We'll get back to work right away. You should sit down, Hozumi.
Matsuda, are you okay? You look like you still haven't recovered from your cold.
No, I'm perfectly fine. Look, I can work.
You really think that you can lie to me? I can tell that you're running a fever from a mile away. Just leave your tasks to Kikawa today and go home today. You need more rest.
No, please, don't make me go home. I can do my own tasks, I swear. I don't cause any trouble. I just want to work, that's all. I don't think you can be able to go home on the train. We'd better call you a taxi, so we can be sure that you get home safe. Toru, you don't have to call anything. I don't need your help. I can work fine. Hey, Hozumi, hang in there.
He's in worse condition than I thought. Let's call an ambulance.
He really was lying about his fever going down. He's boiling hot. How did he even get to work like this?
I'll watch over Matsuda, okay? You call an ambulance. Tell him everything you can, and you know more than I do, right?
Yeah, an ambulance. Yes, sir. A few minutes later, an ambulance arrived in the company parking lot, and Hozumi was carried away on a stretcher by a group of paramedics. The office erupted in panic over whether Hozumi would be okay or not, and the department manager and I accompanied him to the hospital so we could give the doctors as much information as we could until Hozumi's wife could make it to the hospital. After a 10-minute drive, we arrived at the emergency department, and Hozumi was taken into the ICU to be looked at.
According to the doctors, he's collapsed because of overwork, and they're gonna keep him for a couple of days to run more tests, but they see if there's any underlying conditions that he might be suffering from.
I can't believe it. I can't believe Hozumi's collapsed. What's going on with him?
I can't believe it either. We haven't had any overtime since you guys finished the project, so how he's been overworking, I have no idea.
His wife said that he must be coming home pretty late every single night every day, so he must have been doing something after leaving the office before coming back home.
It might be that he started a second job, but it's stated in the contract that employees have to announce any other occupations. I don't know why he would want to keep it a secret.
He said that it was because he wanted to build a new home, but what's the real reason behind his sudden want for more money? I don't get it. He's not a greedy guy.
Let's stay here until his wife arrives. We don't want him to be alone if he wakes up.
20 minutes later, Yukiko finally made it to the hospital. We'd given the doctors her contact number, and they called her to let her know about what condition Hozumi was in, and…
Is Hozumi okay? Where is he?
Yukiko, it's okay. He's fast asleep in his room.
Hikawa, and you are…
My name is Shimono. I'm the department manager and Matsuda's direct manager.
What happened? Why did Hozumi collapse? Is he okay?
Hozumi looked like he was ready to collapse at any second when he arrived at the office. I told him that he should go home, but he got a little aggravated, and when I tried to call him a taxi, he must have hit his limit because he fell right to the floor. It all happened so quickly.
Don't give me that! I don't want your excuses, Kikawa. You're supposed to be his friend.
Mrs. Matsuda, you've got to calm down!
How can I calm down? My husband's in the hospital and I had to leave my son with my parents because I couldn't bring him with me. This is not a situation where I can stay calm.
I understand that this must be very stressful for you, but he's going to be okay. The doctors told me he just needs some rest, and he'll be back on his feet in no time.
I knew it! This is all because of the overtime you're making him do. You're not even paying him! You're a liar, Kikawa. I can't believe you.
I'm not lying to you. He really wasn't working past his shift hours. His time card…
How can I trust anything you say? MoniRobo Foods, a major food corporation? Screw that. You're enforcing unpaid labor. It's all your fault that my husband's suffering mentally and physically. You haven't done anything to help him. If anything, you've probably been giving him all of your work so that you can all skip home at 6 o'clock in the evening and not feel any pressure. You're just using him.
Yukiko, listen to me. Hozumi's a brilliant worker, but that doesn't mean that we would take advantage of him like that. I wouldn't take advantage of my own friend like that.
Are you really sure about that? Even though you didn't notice how much he's been suffering?
We haven't ignored how unwell he's been. If you'd like, we can show you all the data we have on his time card. We don't know why he's been so exhausted either, so we think that there must be another reason why he's been going home so late.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. You're trying to say that everything that's happening to my husband is his own fault. You don't want to accept.
I'm not saying anything like that. I just believe that the only way that we can help Hozumi is by finding out the real reason behind his exhaustion.
I've had enough. I don't want to hear your excuses. You don't ever want to think that you might be in the wrong, do you?
What do we do? At this rate, the situation will spiral out of control, and we don't know what she might do.
I've only just given birth. I'm not in peak condition and I'm worried. Hozumi told me that he didn't want me to worry about money and that I didn't have to return to work until I'm ready. But how can I not worry when he comes home like that?
That's just who Hozumi is. His wife and son are his first priority, and he wants them to be happy. That's probably why.
He's a hard worker, and I've been worried that a day like this might come, that I'll get a phone call from a hospital telling me that he's collapsed. He told me that he didn't have to worry because he's enjoying working with a colleague, a friend that he respects and trusts. But look at him now. This is what he gets.
Yukiko.
What are you going to do if he stays sick? What if his condition is so bad that he can't go to work and he has to stay in the hospital?
If that does happen, then we apologize sincerely. We'll cover the hospital bills and we'll make sure he gets the best treatment possible. We want him to get better after all.
Do you really think that will be enough? I want you to accept responsibility for what you've done. This is all your company's fault.
No matter what we said, Yukiko wouldn't calm down, and it took several nurses to soothe her and get her to go outside and get some fresh air. Hozumi was resting in his hospital room, and we didn't want to wake him up because causing another commotion when she came back would happen. So Mr. Shimono and I decided to leave the hospital and return to the office. I think that you are on the right track, sir. The only explanation for Hozumi's behavior is that he started a part-time job, and that he's been tired from working 2 jobs at once. That must be why he's collapsed.
Matsuda's wife seems like she's the worrisome type, and I can understand why she would be. Something must be going on during the time he's not at home or at the office.
I'll investigate what happened to him after we get back to the office. If we just leave things as they are, I'm afraid that Yukiko might collapse from the stress of taking care of the baby, and having to take care of Hozumi as well.
Yeah, I'll try and check into a few things myself, but you'll probably have an easier time since you're closer to him than I am.
Understood. I began by going through Hozumi's desk when we returned. I didn't want to pry into anything private, but I felt like I didn't have any other place to start. I apologized under my breath and I went through asking the other employees he was closest with whether they knew anything. And when I didn't hear anything that could help me, I even opened up the drawers of his desk. That's when... You're kidding. Is this what he's been acting so weirdly about? As I went through the things in his desk, the truth became clear, and I finally understood why it had been so difficult for Hozumi to talk to us and ask us to help him. Hozumi, just hang in there a little longer. I'll save you. You don't have to deal with this by yourself anymore. We're all here for you. A few days later, I got into a taxi and I asked the driver to take me to the hospital where Hozumi was admitted. Excuse me.
Hikawa!
Yeah, it's me.
What do you want? You're part of the reason why Hozumi's so sick. I don't want you here.
I'm here because there's something I want to talk with you and Hozumi about. It's important that you know what I've learned.
Hikawa, you may have something to say to us, but there's nothing I have to say to you anymore. I'm not interested in your excuses, so leave.
It's urgent, Yukiko. You've got to hear me out.
No, I don't even want to look at you. You betrayed Hozumi and you betrayed my trust. Get out.
Yukiko, please don't shout at Torio. It really is my own fault. He didn't do anything that you think he did.
Hozumi, you need to stay in bed. Lie down.
Torio, I'm sorry that Yukiko's been so rude to you. It's fine. I'm partially to blame for not realizing how much you were suffering sooner. It's all my fault. I should have been honest with Yukiko, and I should have talked to you and Mr. Shimono about it sooner. That's what I'm here to talk to you about. I wanted to ask you a question. If you think you need more time to rest or come back another day, then just message me when you're ready or something. It's alright. Let's talk about it now. Hozumi, you told me that you wanted to save money so that you could build a new home, right? That's why you asked me about working a second job? Yeah. But that was just a lie, wasn't it? You were trying to cover up the debt that your parents pushed onto you. That's why you're having financial trouble right now.
What?
Your parents are addicted to gambling, and they've been pestering you for money whenever they've run out on their own. Now they've forced the debt they racked up onto you. You really got me all figured out, Toro. They made that debt by borrowing as much money as they could, and because they haven't paid any of it, the interest is blown up into triple of what it used to be. Whenever they realized that it was impossible to pay off, they ran away in the middle of the night and disappeared, leaving you to take on the burden.
Hozumi, is that true? Is Kikawa telling the truth? It was your parents' fault?
Yeah, that's why I started a nut job. I hoped that it would help pay back the debt little by little. I'm sorry. I know that you've been looking forward to getting our dream home. I'm really sorry.
Hozumi, am I really that unreliable?
That's not it, I swear. I just didn't want to...
I thought we promised that we would love and support one another forever. I decided to be with you.
Hozumi, no matter what the reason is, I don't think you should have hidden it from your family. I'm just glad that you're okay, but I wish you would have said something. You were one step away from falling apart. I know. Torio, how did you find out that I was trying to pay back my parents' debt? I brought out my briefcase and showed Hozumi and Yukiko what we had kept in the front compartment. I'm sorry, I went through your desk at work. I was desperate to find out what was going on with you. My desk? Yeah, you had a lot of job magazines stacked up in a box, and some in the drawers too. I didn't think anything of it until I found one of the memos stuck inside. Oh, you must have been bursting to talk to someone about your problems, huh? I have to do this. I have to pay back Mom and Dad's debt ASAP. $18K left to go. It's a lot, but I've got to do it. I can do it. It's to make sure my family doesn't suffer. It's all for Yukiko and the baby. So, you've seen everything, huh? I really am sorry, Hozumi. I wish I didn't have to go through your stuff, but you didn't give me any choice. I couldn't ignore what was happening to you. You don't have to apologize, Toru. This all happened because I was too stubborn to ask for help. Yeah, Mr. Shimono's been really worried about you too. Hozumi, everyone's worried about you. Mr. Shimono, and the guys at the office too? Yeah, everyone in the marketing department knows that you're a hard worker, if not the hardest working guy we have. They all know how much time you devoted to getting the project done. Thanks, Toru. I guess I was wrong to think I had to deal with everything alone. Yeah, you were. Why didn't you just tell me when you asked me if I could introduce you to a second job? I thought about it, but I couldn't get the words out. I felt like I was wrong. I felt that I should be able to deal with my own problems alone. I was too embarrassed to admit that I couldn't bear it all by myself. Hozumi, I'm sorry that I didn't ask you properly. It must have sounded pretty harsh, and I made it difficult for you to tell me, huh? No, it's not your fault. I just needed more courage to admit that I was having trouble because of my parents' debt. Yeah, I know. You're not wrong there. Yukiko's been so busy taking care of her son, and I didn't want her to worry about anything else. She's already been doing more than enough work, and I'm already a failure of a husband for not helping her raise the baby, and I caused her this much trouble by getting sick. I'm the worst.
Don't say that! I'm your wife, and I should have noticed that you were being forced to pay your parents' debt. I'm sorry I was too caught up in taking care of the baby. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too, Yukiko. I was gonna tell you when I finished paying it off, but...
Hozumi, I want you to promise me. Promise me that you won't ever hide anything from me. We're married, so we've got to talk to each other. I want you to rely on me.
Yeah, of course I will. I swear, I will keep that promise. Yukiko began crying and sobbed while she cradled their baby son. Hozumi raised himself into a sitting position and slowly rubbed her back to reassure her. I watched them both hold each other, and I felt tears spring to my own eyes. Hozumi, you're an honest guy with a hard-working character. But because of that, you have a tendency to think that you're causing trouble for other people, and you hide things because you don't want them to worry about you. You've got to learn to rely more on your own family and your friends. Yeah, I can't argue with that. I gotta make sure I reflect on what happened and avoid making the same mistakes. So I've actually got an idea of how I can help you. You do? Yeah, we should go and see a lawyer and work out a way to make the people your parents owe money to understand that you don't have any obligation to pay their debt. A lawyer? Yeah, the debt was made by your parents, right? It was just forced onto you, even though you're not a co-signer, right? But what if the lawyer thinks that I should pay? Because I'm their son. What if he refuses to help me and says that I should deal with it myself? He might just send me away without hearing what I have to say. Then ignore anyone that says that. Besides, Mr. Shimono has a friend who is a lawyer. Apparently his field of expertise is dealing with these sort of financial issues. Mr. Shimono's already explained the situation and he's willing to help us. Toru, you know how happy I am to have you as a friend. I've got to thank Mr. Shimono too. Thank you so much. All we have to do is hire an investigator to track down your parents and then force them to deal with their own debt. You don't have to do that much. Hey, I'm your friend, but I'm also your section chief. You might think that it's none of my business, but I don't care what you say. I'm doing it. I was thinking about how this might affect my family, my friends, or even my workplace, because I thought that I had to deal with all this by myself. I thought that that was best, but I guess not. Hozumi, you've gained the trust of all the people around you by using your own strength. There's no way any of us would refuse to help you if you asked us for it. Thanks. I swear I'll pay you all back for this. If you'll just give me some time. Yeah, no worries. Take as long as you need.
Wait, Kikawa, before you go,
Yeah?
I'm really sorry for saying all those horrible things to you, for saying it was your fault. It was a big misunderstanding on my part, but that doesn't excuse anything I did. I'm sorry.
Yukiko, I'm relying on you to watch over Hozumi until he's ready and able to be discharged from the hospital. Just leave all the preparations to me, okay? A few days later, Hozumi was discharged from the hospital and we went to visit the law firm office together. We told Mr. Shimono's friend everything about how Hozumi's parents dumped their debt on him and how they disappeared, how Hozumi hadn't co-signed their debt, and that he didn't have any obligation to pay anything. Hozumi explained how he had found a second job to help pay the debt and showed the lawyer his medical records and how he had suffered as a result. We asked him for advice on what we could do and asked him to introduce us to an investigator that could trust to search for his missing parents. As a result, Hozumi's parents were found in no time. They were brought back to continue shouldering their own debt. Once again, they were struggling under the weight of their $18,000 debt that remained and suffered just as they should. Apparently, they had gone to Hozumi begging for his help, saying, "You're our only son. Children are supposed to take care of their parents. You have to help us," and even got down on their knees and guilt-tripped him. But thankfully, Hozumi didn't give in to their antics and stood up to them. He announced that they wanted to cut ties with them, and he was finally freed of them. He never let them drag him down ever again.
Mr. Shimono, I'm really sorry for everything I said to you at the hospital. I was completely in the wrong.
That's nonsense. You're not to blame for anything. You were just trying to protect your husband.
I shouldn't have done it like that.
Mrs. Matsuda, he's lucky to have you by his side supporting him. You should continue to do so for the sake of your growing family and your happiness.
Yes, sir.
It seems that loan sharks are currently knocking down Hozumi's parents' door every single day to make them cough up more money for their debt. But Hozumi looks like he's finally gotten over it because he said it's none of my business with a big smile on his face. He's back to his usual self finally. He's resigned from his night job and now he's doing much better. I'm glad he's back to normal. Good morning. Thanks for covering me. I'm back to full strength and I'm looking forward to getting back to work. Whoa, now that's a cheerful greeting. You look like you're feeling much better. Yeah, Mr. Shimono told me to take some time off for myself, even after I left the hospital, so I've been getting my strength back and helping out with the housework. But I've been relaxing with Yukiko and my son too. I've been able to get back lots of time with them that I lost because of my second job. Thanks a lot, I really appreciate it. That's great, I'm really relieved to hear that you're back to normal. It's all thanks to you, Toru. I'm really glad that I can work at MoniRobo Foods. I couldn't enjoy anything while I was so exhausted, but now I'm looking forward to learning a lot more at this job and getting promoted. Yeah, I look forward to working with you from here on too. Hey, Toru, you're single, right? Are you looking for a girlfriend? Huh? What was that all of a sudden? I guess I want a girlfriend if I find the right girl. I actually have someone in mind, a girl I want to introduce you to, as thanks for everything you've helped me out with. I told you that I'd pay you back, remember? So I think you would both hit it off. What do you think? So that's what you meant. Yeah, I want you to find happiness with the right person, just like I have. Alright, I don't want to waste the thought that you put into it, so I guess I don't mind meeting her once or twice. I don't know if we'll hit it off, but we'll see. Great, then I'll let her know you're okay with meeting her. I couldn't help but laugh at his enthusiasm and ended up agreeing to his offer. A few days later, I had lunch with Hozumi and the girl he had been so excited to talk to me about. As we talked, I found out that she and Hozumi went to the same college, and that she was friends with both Hozumi and Yukiko. Apparently, Hozumi had been talking about me to her a lot, and she became interested in meeting the real me. We went out to have lunch a couple of times with Hozumi as a conversation filler, but now we're talking in private and going on dates too, and I think it's really going well. Well, I hope so. I learned from the situation with Hozumi that relying on other people isn't always necessarily a bad thing, and I think Hozumi did too. We can always rely on Mr. Shimono to give us reliable work when we need it, and we're blessed with a work environment that gives us the support we need. It's sunk in that MoniRobo Foods is a great company that thinks about its employees first and foremost, and I'm lucky that I work here. I've got to remember not to forget this gratitude, and remember that it's not a matter of course that we have this ordinary but stable happiness. I'm going to keep on working to the best of my ability to keep a hold of this positivity and this simple happiness.